One of the classic yet most powerful techniques in NLP is anchoring. Stay tuned to find out how it works. Damon here with NLP Gym, and I'm going to demonstrate anchoring with an assistant, Natasha. And before I do that, if you haven't already, please click subscribe to this YouTube channel so you can get these videos on a regular basis. Anchoring is one of the first techniques that was discovered when Richard Bandler and John Grinder were creating NLP. And they noticed that Virginia Satir and Fritz Perls, two people that they had modeled NLP after, and even Milton Erickson, were using anchors in different ways. And they were able to code that and model it and be able to use it whenever they were helping people develop states or even overcome limiting states. Now, have you had any NLP training whatsoever?
No.
So this is the first time that you've done anything with NLP?
Yeah.
And you don't know what anchoring is?
No.
Okay. So I've got a completely experience-free test subject here, and she's had no NLP experience, so she doesn't know what I'm going to do, and so she's not just going along with this. All right, so I'm not going to just explain too much about what anchoring is right at first, but I'll explain what I'm doing afterward. So do you have a state where, and we can use a range of different states, so it's something that's very positive, like a feeling that you had at one time where you were really excited, really happy, really resourceful, some type of resource that you would like to have and be able to sort of turn on whenever you'd like to have it.
Yeah, I can think of time.
Okay, so, and what would you call this?
What would I call it?
Yeah, like what would be the resource or the state that you would like to be in?
I was feeling really open to new possibilities and to the future, and just felt really, really balanced in myself.
Okay. So we want to give the state a name, and we can also use it as an auditory anchor, which I highly recommend that if you're going to use anchors that you include an auditory anchor, and I'll explain why a little bit later. So would open be a good word so you know that what I'm talking about? Yeah. When I say open, you know that I mean this state, right? Okay. So you can think of a time when you felt this like really strong, right? Being very, very open and to opportunities and very balanced. Okay. So what I want you to do is imagine you're actually there and really step into yourself as if you're actually there and feel everything that you were feeling and see everything that you were seeing, even hear whatever was there, if it was your own voice, if it was other people's voices. And make sure this is, sometimes when we associate, that's called associating into a memory. Sometimes we don't, we're not actually seeing it from our own eyes as if we were there. We put ourselves in the memory, but we're not actually seeing through the two places right here. And we're not actually hearing from here, like the sounds might come from a different direction, or how we're hearing it might come from a different direction, or how we're seeing things might be coming from different angles. You want to really be there in the same place that you actually were when this was happening. So we want it to be as realistic as possible, as if you're actually there. Okay, I'm on a scale from 1 to 10 about how much are you experiencing this feeling of openness.
5.
5, okay. So we want to get it up to closer to a 10. All right. And I'm assuming that when you were there at this time, when you were experiencing this, it probably felt like a 10 or pretty close.
Yeah.
Okay. So go back into this, make sure you're really associated into this, and really take a moment to really ratchet this up. What was that experience like, and where are you feeling it in your body, and really intensify it. That's right. Just like that. Okay. And just really know what it feels like to be open. That's right. Okay, so I don't know if you can see this on camera, but I'm judging from her physiology that she's really going into this state, and that's what I chose to fire or to set the anchor. So go ahead and let that go and relax, and come back to here and come back to your body now. Mm-hmm. Was there another time where you felt this? Another memory? Anything more recent would probably be better. That you really felt this similar state of being really open and balanced. You got another one? Okay. So again, just really associate into that experience and just be there, see what you saw as if you were actually there, hear what you hear, feel what you felt, and really be there and feeling that openness and that balance. That's right. Just like that. Now, I think if you sat in this a little bit longer, you'd probably feel it even more. So go ahead and do that a little bit more. That's right. Okay. So go ahead and let that go. Take a deep breath. Recite the alphabet backwards. Okay. Now, is there another time that was really powerful for you, or is it you think it's those last two experiences were probably the strongest?
Yeah, those two are the strongest in my memory.
Okay, so choose one of them. It doesn't matter which one, and revisit it and really go back into it. And this time, see if you can take it even deeper. See if you can bring that state all the way to a 10 by really associating and reliving that experience. That's right, just like that. Okay, again, I'm using physiological cues. I'm just noticing how her physiology is shifting a bit to know that she's really going into this state. So go ahead and take a deep breath, come out of that, come back to now. So the way that anchoring works is that when you take an intense state, and it can be a negative one, but we don't want to use negative ones, we want to use positive ones. And you combine that with say a touch, a sound, and sometimes even a visual, like we see certain things and it triggers a state. And so again, that can be good and that can be bad. So what I used for you was I used two. I used an audio and a touch. Mm-hmm. So we want to test this and see if it actually works. And it doesn't always work. Sometimes you have to reset the anchor. But if I just touch you here, I can see you go. So you went back into the state. Yeah. Okay, so go ahead and let that go and take a deep breath and remember what you ate for breakfast, and we want to just kind of snap her out of the state because we want to test this again. So I used an auditory anchor, and so I want to see if that works, and I'll explain a little bit why that's important in just a moment. But if I say, that's right, did it go?
It was stronger when you touched me.
Yeah, not as much. So auditory anchors don't always take as well as the kinesthetic anchors. Kinesthetic anchor is going to be more powerful. The reason why I like to do auditory anchors is I could be across from the room or across the room and tell her that's right, and she would go into the state that I wanted her to go into. In this case, it wasn't as strong, but and then we can do more visual type stuff. So what happens when I do that? It worked, I could tell. So I just pointed to where the anchor was set, and she went into it. So there was something of a visual anchor there. It made her think about the feeling. It made her probably think about the touch. But I didn't touch her. I just pointed to it. So
that was cool.
So that's the great thing about anchors. So anytime you want to go into this state, you can actually just touch your own anchor and feel that openness and that balance. And of course, if I'm in her presence and say I'm her coach and I want her to go back into this state, or we're about to coach and I want her to be in a state of being open and balanced, I can just say, how you doing? And I can see from her physiology, she takes a deep breath and she smiles, and it lets me know that she's going into that state. So what do you think about that?
I liked it. It's good.
Good.
So simple, but then it just really works.
Yeah.
Wow.
Very simple. And that, folks, is anchoring. So if you haven't already, please check out my website, nlp-gym.com. Follow us on Facebook. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to this YouTube channel. If you like this video, please click like down here and leave me comments or questions. I love answering questions. Take care.